Hello, how are you today? My name is CJ, and if you're on this page, it's not by accident because nothing happens by accident. So you're here because it's a reason why you're drawn to this page, and that's why you're watching this video at the moment. Do you know why you're here on this planet? Do you know what your calling is? So if you're doing what you like, and if you love what you're doing, then that is probably what you need to be doing. As long as you're satisfied and you like what you're doing, and deep inside you feel content and you're happy with it, then you know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. If you feel like you're just going through the day by day and you're doing that dead end job and you don't feel right, but you feel like, well, it's paying the bills anyway, then that's not what you should be doing. You need to get into alignment with what it is you're supposed to do and on this earth, and then of course it's going to make you much happier. You're going to be what you love, and you're going to be doing what you came here to do. You'll be fulfilling your duty into helping mankind, because in any case, whatever we choose to do, it's to help each other, or to help one another to get to where they're supposed to be as well. Okay, so we're all supposed to be in that alignment with what we with helping one another, and that's what our calling is. So sometimes we're like, oh, here I am, I'm doing this job, but it's paying the bills, I'm not happy, until you get laid off and you're forced to look for another job, or you're forced to get into maybe a business that you always wanted to get into, but you're so afraid because of that, I have to pay the bills. Of course, when you get laid off, a lot of us will probably get unemployment. So that help us, or some other benefits from work. So that will help us to, while you're looking for work, then of course you probably pursuing what you're supposed to be doing, and makes you a much happier person, and you're on your way to, of course, building your own empire rather than helping someone else to build theirs. Okay, I used to work for a company, a bank, a major bank in Toronto. And after I didn't lose my job. I started a bit. Oh, my story is such a long one. I know that's not what I was supposed to do. So I always, every time the manager is in their office, I always see myself in that office managing people, or being a manager. And so I went back to school. I was on mat leave, and then my mat leave was over, and then as I was home, I was thinking, this is not what I really wanted to do, and so when I went back to work, I went back as a part-time worker and went to school part-time, and then I went into school full-time. And then, of course, I got my degree, my diploma in HR, Human Resources Manager. And so I started my own. I tried to get into HR in the bank, which of course I trained a lot of HR people when they came into frontline. When I was working frontline, a lot of people in management would come because they need to know how to do frontline before they can step into doing what they're supposed to be doing, and so into management. And so of course a lot of these people, I would have to train them. Of course, I didn't even know that. I didn't understand the whole thing. That's not even a part of my job, and I wasn't getting paid for that, for training people. But I used to train people, and so that they can go on to being in management positions within the bank. And so after I started to go to school, and I finished school, and I tried to get a job in HR, and of course that didn't happen. I sent in they said, send your resume. I sent my resume, and that didn't happen. So there was a place up for rent. I'm just going along with the story. There was a place up for rent, and I was with my husband at the time. After that, we got separated and then divorced, and I became a single mom. But long story short, we went to check to see what it would cost for the rent and everything. And then he asked us, the person who had the place for rent, asked us, what are we going to do at this place? But when we went to see because my husband was selling jeans at the time, and so when we went to look at the place, I realized, oh, this wouldn't be befitted for like a retail store. It would be perfect for an employment agency. Don't know where that came from. So I opened up an employment agency. Long story short, I opened up an employment agency. My husband was supposed to run the agency while I was, I forgot, what was I doing? Oh, I was working part-time still because I never quit my job. I was too afraid to quit my job. So I never quit my job. I didn't quit. And I was still working part-time, and he was supposed to be running this employment agency. And then of course it's a new business. It takes a while to get started up because you have to have the patient, right? It's like the bamboo tree that takes 4 years to grow to come from the earth. The Chinese bamboo tree. It takes 4 years, and you have to keep watering it and watering it and watering it, right? For it to birth through the heart, through the earth. For it to actually just come out of the earth, you have to water it for 4 years. Okay, so it takes a while. It takes a while. So you have to have the patience. So whatever it is that you're trying to do, don't get discouraged. Just keep at it. If that's what you really want in your gut, right? What I really wanted in my gut was to work for myself. My father told us, he said, if you can't get a job, create a job, make a job. I wanted a job in HR. I couldn't get a job in HR. I created my own job in HR. I printed my business card. I said human resources manager on it. I felt so good. I was hiring people. I was giving people jobs. Everybody was so happy, and I was happy doing what I was doing. And then I went into another business, and of course I'll tell you more about that later on. But just to say that sometimes things happen for a reason. And so when my husband, he got discouraged, and so he didn't really want to do it anymore. So of course then I went and I started doing it, and I started working in the bank because again I was afraid to quit. And then he was gone, and so I became a single mom, and I was raising three kids while I was going to my real job, which I get paid from, and the one that I'm trying to build, which was my business. And so after after being doing that for a while, and I said I wanted to show him that it could work. And so what I did is I pushed it. I pushed it. I gave it everything. I gave it my all. I started working just temporary at the bank, temporary part-time it was called. So I would go in just Friday night, and I would push the business, and I pushed it and I pushed it. And that business did so well. Did so well. I'll tell you more about that some other time as well. But just long story short, keep at it. Whatever you want to do, don't let anybody talk you out of it. I remember one girl walked in the agency one day, and she was looking for work, and then she said, "I know you from the bank." And I said, "Yeah, I'm just there now, temporary part time." And she said, "Why did you quit? My God, that's the banking job." But she didn't understand. I was making, this was mine. I called the shots. This was my business. I was making more money now. It might not look as nice as working in the bank where you get all dressed up and everything. I did get dressed up still, but you can do whatever you want. It's your job, but you still want to be professional. So I still dress professionally and everything. But of course, my office at the time wasn't the greatest office in the world because I've just started. After that, I started making money, and so I fixed my office up, and my office was really nice. And but she said, "Why did you quit?" But she didn't understand. I was making more money, and it was mine. Like, this was my business. I loved it. So I'm just here to tell you, whatever it is, that if you don't feel comfortable in whatever you're doing, that's because that's not what you're supposed to be doing. So don't just sit there just to collect that paycheck. Or if you need the paycheck, of course you do. So, but in the meantime, always find even 2 or 3 hours a week to do something for yourself and do what you really love to do. And that's probably what it is that you're supposed to be doing to begin with. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. I'll be sharing more stories like this with you as we go along on my new channel. So please like, share, and subscribe. And I will definitely talk to you within a few days. Thank you so much. Namaste.